Another year wasted on your little internet thing. My father's voice cut through the Thanksgiving table as he carved the turkey, pride dripping from every word. Meanwhile, he bragged about how the family business had just hit record profits. I pushed my food around my plate, letting the familiar mockery roll over me like it always did. They had no idea that my little internet thing was now $1 billion tech conglomerate. They had no idea their precious Mitchell manufacturing was drowning in debt, hiding behind fake numbers and cooked reports. Sarah got another donation for her website, my brother Mark announced, scrolling through his phone with a grin. What was it this time, sis? $5 from someone buying used books? Mum shook her head in disappointment. Honestly, Sarah, at your age you should be working at the family company. Like your brother. He's our CFO now. Yes, the same CFO who had been cooking the books for months. The same CFO desperately hiding the company's financial collapse from shareholders. My analytics team had flagged the irregularities weeks ago. The business is doing well, I said quietly. Dad scoffed. Playing shop on the internet isn't a real business. Real business is done in boardrooms. With real products. Like Mitchell Manufacturing. 3 generations of success. My phone buzzed under the table. Mitchell Manufacturing's credit rating downgraded. Bailout needed within 30 days. Proceed anonymously. Absolutely, I typed back. Set up the meeting next week. Let them think it's a regular investor. Mom's voice pulled me back. Mark says there's an entry-level position open in accounting. A real job. A real future. Mark smirked. Though you'd have to wear real business clothes. Not those discount store outfits. I glanced down at my deliberately understated Armani suit. At the watch they thought was a cheap knockoff. A limited edition Patek Philippe. I'll think about it, I said. Knowing that by next week, I might own their entire company. What's there to think about? Dad snapped. Your brother started in the mailroom. Worked his way up. Now he handles all our finances. If only they knew how he handled them. The hidden accounts. The manipulated numbers. The desperation. Another record quarter, Mark said smugly. The Mitchell family legacy continues. My phone buzzed again. Payroll missed. Emergency board meeting tomorrow. Must be nice, I murmured. Dad beamed. Your brother understands real business. Not this internet nonsense. Mum touched my arm. Honey, it's time to grow up. Join the family business before it's too late. Too late. They had no idea that in exactly 1 week, they'd be sitting across from a buyer. Not knowing that buyer was the daughter they'd written off. Maybe you're right, I said, standing. Maybe it's time for a change. Finally, Mom smiled. I'll tell HR to expect you Monday. Oh, I'll be there Monday. I smiled back. Just not the way you expect. That night, I drove home to my penthouse. The one they thought was a tiny studio apartment. Mitchell Manufacturing's stock dropped another 15% after hours. Sometimes the best revenge isn't proving people wrong. It's letting them dig their own grave while you hold the deed. The next week was chaos. Frantic calls. Emergency meetings. Panic. None of them called me. The failed daughter wasn't worth consulting. I watched from my office windows as their stock continued to fall. Mark stopped bragging about being CFO. Dad's confident stride turned into a worried shuffle. Mum's social media went silent. Miss Chin, my assistant said over the intercom, your family just arrived. Your father is demanding to speak with the CEO. I pulled up the security feed. Dad was bullying the receptionist. Mark was frantically flipping through documents. Mom was trying to network with strangers who clearly didn't care. Put them in the main boardroom, I said. Tell them the potential buyer will join shortly, and their request to speak to the CEO. I smiled. Oh, they will. Through the cameras. I watched them sit in the same boardroom where I'd closed billion-dollar deals. This is a waste of time, Mark muttered. We need serious capital. Dad straightened his tie. Stick to the story. Record profits. Strong growth. Temporary cash flow issues. The lies you've been telling everyone. I entered the room. The color drained from their faces. Mark dropped his folder. Papers scattered across the floor. Sarah? Mum whispered. What are you doing here? I took the seat at the head of the table. Reviewing my potential investment. Investment? Dad's voice cracked. You're not. Chin Technologies, I said, gesturing to the logo behind me. Your potential buyer. I laid out the real financial reports. Hidden offshore accounts. 3 years of falsified profits. Fraud. Mark tried to speak. I raised my hand. Before you lie again, let me show you what real business looks like. Screens dropped from the ceiling. Everything exposed. Dad stared at me. You said internet businesses aren't real. I built the largest tech conglomerate in the country, I corrected. While you mocked me, that donation you laughed at, it was a $1 billion acquisition of your biggest competitor. Dad leaned forward. Princes. Family helps family. I laughed. Like when you helped me. I slid the contract across the table. Chin Technologies will acquire Mitchell, manufacturing at 20 cents on the dollar. That's insulting. Mark shouted. More insulting than fraud, I replied. Or should I send these to the SEC? Silence. You have 30 minutes, I said, checking my watch. The one you mocked, Mum whispered. This isn't fair. Neither was humiliation, I said calmly. One by one they signed. Congratulations, I said, standing. You're now employees. If we keep you. At the door I paused. Oh, Dad? Remember when you said real business isn't done online? Every screen lit up. My name at the top of the new corporate structure. Sometimes it is, I said. And sometimes it's done in boardrooms too. The difference is I mastered both. The door closed behind me. Announce the acquisition, I told my assistant. Then I smiled. And schedule a family dinner. Same table. Same seats. This time, I said softly, I'll be at the head.